So in 2017, I was a part of a car rally, which I still am a part of, called North Face Rally. Now, we did rallies from Toronto to Miami to Washington, D.C., to a bunch of places, some local drives. But to kind of start off the season in 2017, we did a drive up to Blue Mountain, which is about 2 hours north of us. And it was just a casual day, nothing crazy, but because of the beginning of the season, about 70 cars came out. Anything from Mustang GTs to Aventador SV Roadsters, just everything in the middle. So I actually drove there originally in a manual 2017 Mustang GT, but when I got there, I wanted to take some pictures. I was doing a lot of photography at the time. My friend had a C7 Corvette Z06. Now these cars have the T-top, so as a photographer, you can kind of stand up a little bit, get some good photos. You can kind of see it all around you. So I hopped in passenger with him. The day started off pretty well. We're just kind of stuck in traffic trying to get to the highway, and it's an absolute takeover. I mean, 70 supercars, all different colors like Skittles. People were like completely freaking out. I don't know if anybody called the police on us or anything like that, but eventually we get on the highway and we start heading north. Obviously we get a little excited. It's, a typical rally, typical behavior you see in a rally, but nothing out of the ordinary. Now, after a while, we kind of start seeing some cop cars around, and it started feeling a little bit weird, like something's a little bit out of the ordinary. Eventually we come to a full stop. We're stuck on completely stopped traffic, and it takes probably about 20 minutes till we get to the front. And when we get to the front, there's a police officer waving certain cars through and certain cars onto the rest area. And we noticed a trend that any car that's not a sports car is going through. If you're a sports car, you're going into the rest area. And it was very weird because driving in, suddenly we see probably about 30 tow trucks already in the rest area, along with news networks and a ton of police officers. So they pull us all to the side and they kind of just tell us to wait. And they start slowly talking one by one. And they're just kind of walking around the cars, not really letting us know much. And eventually some tow trucks start pulling near the cars. What happened is they claimed that they had calls about certain cars driving completely recklessly. But the thing is, there was no license plates in their calls. There was nothing like that. They would just have a description, let's say, white R8 driving recklessly. And the problem would be is we would have 3 white R8s. And they didn't really know who did what. They were just kind of really looking for stuff. So they started letting certain people go with some tickets, but then certain people were starting to get loaded on tow trucks. And eventually they get to us. I'm in a Corvette Z06, and the guy kind of starts telling us, oh, we have claims that there was a red Z06 going this fast and this fast. And we're like, that we did not get anywhere near those speeds. I mean, we're talking speeds of 150 miles an hour. And the thing is, there was, I think, 2 other red Z06s. So we kind of just told him, like, hey, like, do you have any further details? Anything? Like, it was not us. Like, we kind of need to get home. We need the car. And this guy starts, no front license plate, ticket. This guy goes and starts measuring the tires, anything he could possibly find to just ticket us, get us on something, maybe impound the car. Now, the only thing he was able to get us on is a front plate ticket. So he kind of just tells us to wait there, and while we're waiting, Porsche GT3s get loaded up, Aventadors get loaded up, Ferrari 360s, everything just get loaded up on tow trucks, to where now there's 12 cars on tow trucks. This at this point, while we're still at the rest area, is making the news. Like, we're live on everywhere. Everybody already knows what's going on. Everybody's getting phone calls from the entire world, seeing their cars on the news. Eventually, the cop lets us go, and we're the last car to leave without getting impounded. Now, the total amount of cars that got pulled over is 70 cars. They impounded 12 of them, and leaving that rest area with a front plate ticket, I don't think we've ever had the most, like, nervous and excited, like, laugh, like, I can't believe we just got out of this. It was absolutely insane, and we all regrouped, and literally we regrouped 10 minutes away from there at a restaurant. And while we're at the restaurant, we're watching the rest of the guys on the news getting impounded. And eventually we get to our final destination, and everybody's moods are obviously down. All the activities we had there are kind of canceled. We're all just terrified that they're following us, watching us, trying to, make an example of us for the car season, which in Toronto, they don't really mess around. I mean, they just shut down car rallies in one of the cities. You really can't get away with much. And the beginning of every season, they just try to set an example. So eventually we get there, and everybody's terrified to even drive back because we all got to drive back the same way we came. And, if you had to guess, these guys are probably waiting for us. Luckily for me, I had another group of friends stay in the same town that night. I'm just like, I don't want to get pulled over. I don't want anything happen to my license if I'm the one driving. And I end up going to stay with my friends. A few days later, we come back and we're on our own. We're like, I don't want to leave with any of the other guys because that is a guaranteed way to get pulled over. Unfortunately, we weren't in the most low-key car. My friends drove there in a Rolls-Royce Wraith in 2017. That car was still pretty new. It was white and gold. I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And my friends were all, you know, a little hungover from the night before, so I was stuck being the one driving while they were sleeping in the car. And the whole way, I don't think I went within 5 kilometers an hour of the speed limit. Just cops every 15 minutes, just waiting for it. And I think everybody else kind of did the same thing as me. Now, funny thing is, all the cars got impounded. Like, the cars that got impounded, the guy's driver's licenses got suspended for, I think it was 7 days or a month. I forgot what the law was at the time. And I think it took a few months. And in those few months, every few days, you'd hear of another guy having police show up at his house and be like, hey, like, this is from that day. We are taking your car. We're suspending your license. And they would do it with no real proof. So the only proof that ever came out of that day was somebody that was following us, not a part of the club, in an Audi A4 overtaking on the shoulder. He was the only person that actually they had any proof of. So I think everybody ended up using the same lawyer, and every single case other than that Audi got dropped. All the suspensions, everything got dropped, but obviously they're not going to report about that. So pretty much they used us to make an example on the news. Everybody was terrified to do any car rallies, and honestly, ever since then, all the car rallies and drives in Toronto have really calmed down. But at the end of the day, they had no proof, and I do think it was a little bit of a setup to set an example. And yeah, they never reported about the fact that the charges got dropped. Canada is a lot stricter than anywhere else I've seen, except for maybe I think it's Virginia that's very, very strict here in the US. But in Canada, if you go 40 kilometers an hour over the speed limit, which is I think is like 26 miles an hour over, in most roads, it's an immediate roadside suspension for a week, license suspension, I believe, for a month. It will raise your insurance like crazy. You'll never be able to get insured again. Huge fines, and now they started setting up speed cameras. If you go 6 miles an hour over the speed limit, you get a ticket. In the main city where car shows used to happen, it's called Vaughan. You know, there was a big plaza called La Paloma. Like, there was an ice cream shop there called named La Paloma, so everybody would be like, you know, nice summer day, let's go to La Paloma. About once a year, gets shut down with cops because you go there and every day it's just a car show. But people are not too crazy. They're just hanging out. And recently, they actually even put a law in place. If you host a car show in that city, doesn't matter if nobody's revving, if it's a quiet cars and coffee filled with 70-year-old guys in Corvettes, you will get fined $10,000. And I think everybody attending can get fined either $100 or $1,000. So now the main city where all the car shows was at, shut down. You cannot do anything. Even if you just go with your friends for ice cream, and let's say 5 of you have nice cars, they can try to get you for that. And they absolutely hate anything to do with cars. I mean, you have to have a front plate, which is really weird because the province next door to us, Quebec, you do not have to have a front plate. You know, they'll pull you over on the side of the road, check your exhaust, check everything. I mean, they will do everything possible to eliminate any type of car activity, which is crazy for me to see because I go to Florida a lot. And when you go to Florida, you go to a Cars and Coffee there, and the cops will literally shut down the roads to let people coming out of the car show, you know, do an acceleration, like kind of show off their cars. And that is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life because for us, I mean, even when we got here, there was a car show in Toronto, calm, no revving, no burnouts, no nothing. Just a bunch of cars in a plaza, and within 30 minutes, cops come, shut it down.
This month of VINwiki Car Stories is brought to you by Bridgestone, and the most exciting news out of Bridgestone is the brand new release of their Alenza Prestige tire. The Alenza Prestige Highway tire is for drivers who want a long-lasting, elegant, and comfortable ride without compromising at all on wet weather performance. Amazing tire that features their next generation Enlighten technology, as well as their Quiet Track technology. An in-groove feature designed to reduce tread pattern noise combined with a wide center rib that helps to deliver a whisper-quiet ride with comfortable and responsive handling. So check them out now at the link in the description below to learn more about the Alenza Prestige tires from Bridgestone and the entire Bridgestone family of products.